Welcome from all of us at He Is Risen Ministries. Your support by subscribing and giving a thumbs up helps us keep creating videos that inspire and equip those seeking a deeper walk with the Lord. Today we're talking about something huge, something that sits at the center of the entire Bible story, something people have wrestled with for thousands of years. Why did God Himself have to be sacrificed in order to accomplish the atonement of sin for all believers? Why that path? Why that cost? And how does any of this connect to ancient sacrifices, Abraham and Isaac, Isaiah 53, and Jesus saying, "If I be lifted up, I will draw all men to myself"? Let's walk through it slowly. Let's keep it simple. And let's make it something you can feel in your real life, not just something you hear. The Bible has a clear rhythm from beginning to end. God loves us and we wander. God pursues us. And He always provides a way back. One of the first ways God taught people about coming back to Him was something that feels strange to us today: animal sacrifices. We read about this all through the early books of the Bible, and when you first hear it, it can feel brutal or outdated. But it actually had a very specific purpose. Back then, people lived in a world where everyone, literally everyone, believed the gods needed to be paid off. If you messed up, you owed something. If life went wrong, you assumed the gods were mad. Sacrifice wasn't about love, it was about fear, superstition, and survival. But when God steps into the story, He takes something people already understand and flips it. He uses it as a teaching tool. He teaches that sin is serious, that it causes real damage, that it breaks something deep between heaven and earth, and that forgiveness isn't free. It costs something. But here's the thing. Even back then, God said He didn't actually want the animals. He says this in places like the Psalms and the prophets. He says He despised sacrifices that weren't from the heart. He wasn't looking for people to just go through a ritual, mumble a prayer, drop off an offering, and then walk away unchanged. He wanted hearts, not just actions. Think of it like someone apologizing to you with the most empty voice possible. You've heard that tone, the sorry that doesn't mean anything. It sounds like a text message someone typed because they felt pressured. No emotion, no ownership, no change. That's what Israel kept doing. They were going through the motions, lots of rituals, not much transformation. So God was always pointing forward, ahead, toward a day when the sacrifice wouldn't be an animal, wouldn't be a symbol, wouldn't be a ritual. It would be something real, something final, something from the heart of God Himself. The prophets talked about a time when God would write His law on our hearts, not on stone, not on scrolls, on the inside of us. So that knowing Him wouldn't be a ritual, it would be a relationship. Isaiah 53 gives this picture in a way that still takes your breath away. It talks about someone who would be pierced for our transgressions and crushed for our iniquities. Someone who would carry the weight of the world's sin, someone innocent, someone who wouldn't fight back, someone who would absorb all the darkness so that we could live in the light. That chapter was written hundreds of years before Jesus arrived. But when you read it today, it's like Isaiah was standing at the foot of the cross watching it happen. Let's go even further back to Abraham and Isaac. God asked Abraham to do what makes every parent's heart stop: offer his son, his only son, the one he loved. It sounds unthinkable, and that's the point. It is unthinkable. But God wasn't trying to take Isaac. He was showing Abraham and all of us that God Himself would one day do what no human parent could ever bear to do. He would give His son, not as a test, not as a threat, but as a rescue. Abraham's knife never fell, but God's heart already had. And that story becomes a shadow, a foreshadow, a preview of the cross, of the moment when God would pour out love in the most costly, personal, painful way possible. Because here's the truth that makes everything else finally make sense. No animal could ever pay the price for a human heart. No ritual could ever repair the damage sin causes in a soul. No symbolic offering could ever actually remove guilt. All the sacrifices in the Old Testament were like training wheels. They taught us the direction, but they couldn't take us where we needed to go. Only God Himself could do that, not because He's dramatic, not because He enjoys suffering, but because only He is perfect enough, holy enough, and loving enough to carry the weight of the entire human story. If the problem is cosmic, the solution has to be cosmic too. So Jesus steps in. Jesus, God in flesh, enters human history. He lives the life we should have lived. He loves perfectly. He forgives instantly. He heals fully. He teaches gently. And then he offers himself, not as a victim, but as a volunteer. This is why he said, "If I be lifted up, I will draw all men to myself." He wasn't talking about fame. He wasn't talking about platform. He was talking about the cross, about being lifted up between heaven and earth, about becoming the bridge that reconnects us to God. And when Jesus hung there, he wasn't just dying. He was absorbing all the brokenness of humanity, all the shame, all the secrets, all the darkness, all the guilt you pretend isn't there, all the things you wish you could erase, all the patterns you wish you could break. He took all of it, not in theory, in his body, on that cross. And then he said the most powerful words ever spoken: "It is finished." Not "it has started," not "it's halfway," not "now go fix the rest yourself." No, finished, done, completed. Every sacrifice pointed to that moment. Every prophecy led to that moment. Every broken heart found its healing in that moment. Let's bring this into real life. Imagine you owe a debt so huge you can't even calculate it. Something that racks up interest every hour. Something you know you can never pay off. You feel the weight of it every day. You avoid thinking about it. You hope no one notices. But it sits there, growing. Now imagine the one person in the universe who has the exact amount, the only person who even could pay it, walks up to you, puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "I've covered it, all of it. No strings attached. You're free." That's what atonement is. That's what the cross is. That's why God himself stepped into human skin, because the only one who could pay the price is the one we owed it to, and he paid it not from obligation, but from love. Gen Z gets this better than you might think. You live in a world where people crave authenticity. You can smell fake from a mile away. You want what's real, what's honest, what's consistent, what matches the words with the actions. God knew that too. That's why he didn't send an animal, or an angel, or a prophet, or a message floating in the clouds. He came himself, because love doesn't outsource what matters most. Now let me speak to your heart for a second. Whatever you're carrying today, whatever guilt, whatever fear, whatever shame, whatever confusion, Jesus already carried it. He already paid for it. He already finished the work. You don't have to earn this. You don't have to pretend your life is more together than it is. You don't have to pretend your faith is stronger than it feels. You don't have to pretend you don't have questions. Just look to him, the one who was lifted up, the one who draws all people to himself, the one who loves you enough to take your place, the one who whispers, "It is finished." So here's the challenge for today. Let him rewrite your heart. Let him be the one who guides your steps. Let him lift the weight off your shoulders. Let him show you what forgiveness actually feels like, not as a concept, as freedom, as peace, as a brand new way of living. And now, as we close, I want to leave you with a calm reminder. You are seen, you are loved. And the God who went to the cross for you is the same God who walks with you now. Thank you for spending this time with us today. And thank you for supporting He is Risen Ministries. Your likes, your comments, your shares, they help us reach people who are searching for hope, answers, and truth. Got a question you'd like us to explore in a future video? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. For now, rest in the knowledge that the one who loved you first has already prepared a place for you in his eternal family. And may his voice ring clearly and powerfully this very day.